Welcome back. We'd like to remind you that channelstv.com has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb, you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser, or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows devices from their respective stores. That's not all. Besides giving you access to news and updates, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature with which you can share pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Not less than 15 fuel stations have been sealed off by the Department of Petroleum Resources in different parts of Kogi State following an enforcement exercise carried out by its operatives. The DPR's head of retail outlets and monitoring in the state, who led the surveillance team, accused some of the marketers of shortchanging the public despite the availability of product. On the other hand, availability of petroleum products in Cross River State has ensured the return of normalcy to filling stations in Calabar, the state capital.
The issue of petroleum product hoarding and diversion has in recent times become a seemingly intractable problem in many parts of the country. In Kogi State, north-central Nigeria, the situation remains a challenge, forcing officials of the Department of Petroleum Resources, the DPR, to pay unscheduled visits to several petrol stations in Lokoja, the state capital. At the end of the exercise, DPR head of retail outlet and monitoring in the state, who led the surveillance team, says one of the objectives of the exercise is to expose fuel stations under dispensing petrol to unsuspecting members of the public.
There are a lot of supply in the filling station, but particularly we are looking at the delivery of the product. That's delivery of the pumps, particularly. Then issue of hoarding and diversion. That's to say, in every 10 liters given, the first station it was 1.8 in every 10 liters. Then the other one was 1.5 in every 10 liters. That's to say, they are using that to change the public.
The surveillance also yielded some positive results with the discovery of this illegal fuel station.
I don't know. I'm a security man. They employ me as a security man here, and I'm guarding the property that is here. That's what they employ me for. I don't know whether it's legal or it's not legal.
This station particularly, these are the illegal stations that we have that's built them overnight.
The story is, however, different in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, as normalcy seems to have returned after a protracted period of petrol scarcity.
We all are seen, and most of the stations we visited, we can see that we have only 2 or 3 vehicles buying, and most of them buy 1,000, 2,000 naira liter, what they call the worth of liters. And with that, it has signified that the situation, or the what they call it, the situation of product supply has overcome the expectation of the public.
The Cross River State experience is encouraging, and this is expected to be replicated in other parts of the country.
Now, Nigerian army troops on Operation Lafia Dole have arrested 3 suspected Boko Haram terrorists at the Ngurore area of Borno State. Acting on a tip-off, the members of the 23 Brigade Nigerian Army got the suspects, all of whom are said to be from Darajimal in Bama local government area. A statement from the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Texas Chukwu, says one of the suspects had sustained a series of gunshot wounds in the shootout with soldiers. The terror suspects are said to have confessed to have been operating along with other insurgents on the fringes of Bama in Borno State. Brigadier General Chukwu commends members of the Civilian Joint Task Force for their resilience and continued cooperation with the troops. The statement urges members of the public to be vigilant and report any suspicious persons or objects to the nearest military location. Now, sexual assault and violence against women is a major challenge in the northeastern part of the country. This is why the European Union, supported by the British Council, is intervening by addressing the rising incidence of sexual and gender-based violence. Those involved in the visited Yola Specialist Hospital to commission the newly established center say it will provide psychosocial, medical examinations, and legal aid to survivors. Sexual and gender-based violence against women is a thorn in the flesh of any society. And in northeast Nigeria, a new center in Yola has been established to address this problem. The Adamawa Hope Center, it's called, and it's equipped with information and technology tools to provide psychosocial, medical examination, and legal aid to victims of sexual and gender-based violence.
This center will provide medical services to survivors, but will also deal with issues of psychosocial support for the survivors and follow up in terms of investigation and prosecution of offenders.
We already have a strong community involvement of mobilizers, which I believe will be able to leverage on to go into the community and make people aware of this center.
The legal angle appears to be covered.
The center will, however, go a long way in supporting victims of such assault by providing them with free immediate medical treatment, trauma counseling, and legal advice.
How do you expect the victim to explain to the court that there is actually a penetration, not only a penetration, but a penetration by that particular accused? This is something that you just have to rely on forensic evidence. And I'm very sure, if we can get the forensic evidence, the courts and the judge are there and willing to assist us.
Representatives of security agencies applaud the establishment of the center, indicating it will help in convicting suspects of sexual assaults in Adamawa State.
Most of these cases happen and they are not reported. And at times when they are even reported to us, there are no evidences. The evidences have been tampered right from the sources. So we're really happy that this edifice is here and all that are involved are also part of it.
With this, I think we don't have any doubt that whenever these miscreants are arrested for this heinous crime, by the time our cases are taken to the court, of course, I think justice will be done.
In our community, partners in the running of the center include the British Council, Managing Conflicts in Nigeria, the Adamawa State Government, and relevant security agencies. Let's turn our attention to the education sector now. Members of the Non-Academic Staff Union of federal universities across the country are sending a reminder to the government on the need to implement the agreement that they reached with workers earlier in the year. The university workers are pleading with the government to meet the agreement to prevent a situation where the smooth running of schools is interrupted. They insist it's not only the payment of the 8 billion naira within the next 2 weeks that will prevent the resumption of the suspended industrial action. That's the only way that will not happen.
After the face-off between non-teaching workers of federal universities in Nigeria and their employer, the federal government, which lasted 3 months, the workers have decided to sheathe their sword, albeit momentarily.
Government is to source for 8 billion naira within 5 weeks to pay jack of standing, NAS and NAS members and members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, University of Nigeria, SUKA, UNN, and the University of Ilorin, UNILORE.
The workers have gone back to their duty post and are happy to return to work after so long.
We are happy that everything has gone back to normalcy because during the strike, activities on campus were grounded.
From the east to the west, the north and south, academic and administrative activities are now back in full swing. Lecturers narrate their experience while the strike lasted.
The work would be much more difficult if the students were not to be on ground, but because the students were on ground and the classrooms are there open for us, the labs were there open for us, we were able to cope.
Students are the worst hit by this industrial action.
was really bad. It was terrible. Then the classrooms were not conducive. There was this heat wave going on then in UNILAG, and there was always blackouts. And well, things were just not right. I'd like to appeal to federal government to please meet their demands, because it's not easy going through this kind of, to go through all these kind of things. Saying it may seem interesting, may seem funny, but experiencing it is way different.
The non-teaching workers insist the brokered peace is only for as long as government keeps its side of the bargain.
The only way to let the government know that we are not happy with them is to call back or resume the strike. So if after 5 weeks, government does not fulfill its part of the agreement, we don't have any cause than to go back to the strike.
School managers join the workers in asking the government to make good their promise.
The university will be appealing to the federal government to kindly keep to its agreement and ensure that this 8 billion they had promised, they will generate in 5 weeks.
You're watching news across Nigeria. In Cross River State, coming up, help has come the way of a rape victim from the state government, no less. Stay with us.